Hi, my name is Matt Hinkle with Box Alarm Training, and today we're going to talk about how do you label sides of a structure. Traditionally, a lot of firefighters label sides of the building by the address side or the street side, or they'll say the front of the building is the alpha side. Well, it doesn't always work like that when you have a building that looks like this. This is not something to think about when you pull up on scene. You really need to be prepared for a building like this and how you're going to deal with the problem of having a building that's an odd shape or doesn't match the street side or an address side, just doesn't make sense. You can run into a lot of problems if you identify sides wrong because everybody else will orient in a different manner. We're going to take a look at a few examples to see how do we label sides of the structure. So the first thing that we're going to do is look at how do we actually label the sides for orientation on the fireground. This is just a residential structure, very simple house. We're going to show how do we label these sides. The way that we label a side is that we do it clockwise. So if you imagine a clock, we're going to do it in a clockwise fashion. So typically the way that we do this is we label the front of the house, or the side that we see when we pull up, alpha. Then we label the side to the left going clockwise, Bravo. Then Charlie would be the back. Delta would be the right-hand side. So if you wanted to orient yourself and say that we were working in this corner of the building, you could say that's the Charlie Delta corner. Or you're going into the entrance of the building on the alpha side. So let's look at this building. If we pull up to this and we go by the traditional way of labeling a building and say that the alpha is the front, the Charlie's the back, this doesn't work for this building. And if you pull up to this building, let's say that an engine pulled up right here. If they pulled up on this side of the street and they think that this is the alpha, but then the second dude pulls up over here and they think that this is the alpha, then everybody's sides are oriented in a different way. For this engine, this would be alpha, Bravo, and then Charlie and Delta would be in the back. But for the engine that's right here, they would think this is alpha, then Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. So this corner would be different depending on which engine you arrived on, whether you labeled that or not. So let's say the first dude labeled this side as alpha and the second dude labeled this side as alpha, and then something happens back here in the corner of the building. Well, if we need to orient or ask for assistance in that corner of the building, if I was on the first due engine, I would say that that is the Bravo Charlie corner. Or the corner of Bravo and Charlie, which would be because this is oriented as the alpha. But if I was the second due engine, then this would be the alpha Bravo corner. So you can imagine if that came across the radio as two different things, well, we could be sending companies in the wrong direction to get assistance to somebody. So how do you solve that problem? Really, the way that you do it is the first arriving company labels that side. So if the first arriving engine pulls up on this side of the structure and they say this is the alpha, then it doesn't matter what you think it is. You're oriented based off of this engine. So if you pull up over here, you know that you're on the Bravo. Or if you pull up in the back, you could be on the Charlie or the Delta. But you go off of this initial orientation, that labeling of the initial company that says they're the alpha. Now, if they don't do that, you can run into a lot of problems, and especially in a building like this where the front entrance is actually in a corner. So everyone works off that initial company when they do a size up. So their size up really should include, I think it's a really good practice to include the side, whatever side that you're on. So this initial company, if they pull up right here, they may say engine one's on scene. They describe the building, what their actions are about to be, but they say engine one is in the alpha division. Or some people will say engine one is accountability in the alpha division, meaning that we're setting up in the alpha division, which is going to be right here. A division is geographical. So that side of that building is alpha, and everyone else that arrives on scene should orient themselves based off of that position so that we can't get mixed up. So labeling the sides of a structure are really beneficial for firefighters. It helps orient everybody on the fire ground and make sure we're on the same page. So if we don't do that from the beginning, especially if we end up with a weird shaped building, we could all be oriented in a different way, and that could result in a whole lot of problems. So I hope you've seen that from these demonstrations. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also check us out on Facebook at Box Alarm Training, and probably the best resource is our website, which is www.boxalarmtraining.com. If you have any questions or comments, write them below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.